listening to... Welcome back, people. Or welcome for the first time. I think that's what I said last time. I was hammered. Or no, last week. Hi, I'm Ween.
And I'm your other horror host, Ree. I don't know where I went to Canadian Town.
Ree.
Yeah, I went to Canadian Town.
Miss Ray. And we are horror movie fans.
Yup.
Welcome to Booze, Boobs, and Blood podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Last week,
we were hung
the fuck over. Oh, girl. Because the day before, I was a guest for your other podcast, Chick Lit Book Club podcast. Actually, I don't know if that's...
It is .com.
Oh, okay,
actually.
Sweet. That worked out nicely.
Yeah.
I was hammered.
I think we all were feeling no pain.
Man.
Because we played a little game on there called, Sexy Santa Says. And we got to this part where you had to take a drink. It was like, cheers, drink. Yeah. And I think that did us all in. I think that was...
I just kept drinking.
Well, no, we kept drinking, but I think that was the downfall. That was the inciting incident.
Right,
yes.
Right. Beginning of the end. Perfect. Hey, guys. So for this week.
Yeah, it's our holiday celebration.
Yay!
It's our Life Day celebration. We're doing 2.5 because I will talk a little bit about the middle one.
Yeah,
I want to explain it to you because it's bonkers shit. So we're talking about Black Christmas 1974 and Black Christmas 2019. Let's just say that one of these is really good.
Yeah.
Another one is a pile of garbage.
I was 20 minutes in and I texted Ray and I was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
That was around the time where I was like, oh, this is bad. Yep. This is going to be real bad.
I don't like where this is headed. I don't like it.
There was no Carrie Elways saving this movie. God, he's good looking.
I love him. Ugh.
God, he is smoking stuff.
I call him sexy all throughout my notes, but
yeah, sexy.
Because he is.
Wesley. He could be my sexy Santa. Yeah, right. Wesley.
Oh. Hey, Miss Ray.
Huh?
What tickled your pickle this week?
Ah, shoot. I'm
going to come back to that?
Yeah, let's go back. Right. What tickled your pickle this week?
Two things. Mm-hmm. One, I got Miss Ray's Christmas present.
Yeah!
Yay! She got me a shirt that says a Deborah Hill production. For those who may have forgotten, was the producer of the first Halloween movie and a handful thereafter with John Carpenter. Yeah. And she was amazing. She was wonderful, a wonderful person, and yay women in the arts. Woohoo!
Well, I mean, if you've listened to our first episode, I believe I say maybe for Christmas.
So I got that. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Maybe after the break I'll put it on. But the other thing is, in the beginning of the week, I babysat my little munchkin nieces. They're so sweet. They're 8 and 10, and we had a good old time. Mom and Dad went to a concert. What? My sister is into metal music now.
What? I mean, not that that's... But,
it's so
I know
out of
your
left field.
Sister, right?
Right. And I'm like, wait, what? We like the same bands? What is that about? But she's into it, and she's learning to play the guitar, just for funsies.
Cool, yeah.
My boyfriend is kind of giving her a couple little lessons and whatever, fingering. But nice segue, Ween. So I was watching my nieces, and we had a good time. I took them shopping with Auntie Ween.
Nice.
It was fun.
Nice.
We had a good old time.
Yeah.
They're very sweet. They antagonize the shit out of each other, but I mean, it's just like me and my sister. We weren't physical. We were just catty as hell. I'm sure you could really.
Yep.
Some things don't change, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the physical fights. Though my sister got it. Yeah,
she's 10. Did that?
Yeah, she's 10 years older than me. So.
Oh, well, there's that.
Yeah.
So those are my pickle tickles.
I like them. I was sitting here thinking, and I literally have nothing. How sad is that? My pickle tickle is seeing your beautiful face today.
Oh,
so there you go.
How you flatter me, man. Flattery will get you everywhere.
Yeah, well, we watched. You guys are not going to be excited about this, but that's fine. I mean, one of my favorite books, The Hating Game, it was made into a movie, and it came out it came out a couple weeks ago at this point, but we finally watched it for my other podcast, and it's really good. It's really good, guys. And Austin Stowell, I would like to throw all the legs over it and climb him like the tallest tree on the planet.
Backward, forward, sideways, don't care.
Oh, Jesus. Whew. My first note when we were taking notes on it, I was like, this guy is fucking gorgeous. That was it. So, yeah, that's about it. Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. All right, guys, we're gonna take a little break.
Whee!
And then come back and talk about Black Christmas.
We're back. Na, 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 na.
And this time I did not have the Ghostbusters song in my head.
Hey,
one of these days, maybe I should buy it. You know, and then input it every time. No, we shouldn't do that. Anywho, 1974, Black Christmas, directed by Bob Clarke. What is the really interesting thing about Bob Clarke?
I'm glad you asked, Ray.
Yes.
So I learned watching various YouTube videos about Black Christmas 1974. These are specifically titled Black Christmas. This was not the first, but among the first, slasher films of yore, and directed by Bob Clarke. Bob Clarke also directed, 10 years later?
It was 1980, I think it was.
Oh, just 80, yeah. Okay, so 6 years later, he directed another Christmas film, guys. A Christmas Story! Yay! That took a sharp turn!
Well, I mean, that bunny suit was enough to cause nightmares.
Yeah. It was a nightmare.
Pink
nightmare.
Well, and this original script was called Stop Me. And Bob Clarke was like, yeah, I don't like that. Let's call it Black Christmas. Thank God.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
He also, John Carpenter was a huge fan of this movie. And mind you, Black Christmas came out in 1974, and Halloween came out in 78. So he got in touch with Bob Clarke and was like, dude, love this movie. What are your plans? Do you have any plans with it? Maybe a sequel?
Right.
And Bob was like, man, I don't really want to do a sequel.
Yeah.
Who does that sound like?
Yeah, right?
Can't blame him, I guess.
No.
But John was like, okay, but if you had to do something with it, what would you do? And I was like, well, a slight idea I kicked around was, having the main antagonist eventually be incarcerated and escape from a prison on another holiday. Do you know what holiday he might have been referring to?
Halloween!
Yeah! He was going to have him escape on Halloween and have that be called, Black Halloween or just Halloween, or I don't know. But then John was like, rubs the non-existent goatee.
Yeah.
And thus Halloween was born. Right. And Black Christmas was, you can see now, and having watched this, there was a lot of influence on the first Halloween movie. The POV point of view, killer's point of view, kind of camera angles and things. Not the first, but
definitely you could
inspired by.
Exactly. The original script actually featured more murders. The murder scenes were more graphic, I should say. They were more graphic. Because this could easily be PG-13.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's no boobs.
Apart from the language, though.
Oh, well,
There's some hella language in there.
There's some hella language in that poster of those people doing it. That's about it. Yep. What's really interesting, going on that same vein, NBC scheduled this film to be premiere on, primetime. They would do after, about 4 years later in 1978. But they were going to change the title to Stranger in the House. But on January 15th, 1978, 2 female students at the Florida State University were murdered by an assailant who broke into the sorority house where they lived. So 3 other young women in this immediate... I forgot what the name of the killer is. I want to say Tallahassee something. The 3 other women in the immediate vicinity were attacked and assaulted. NBC received numerous pleas from locals to pull the movie from broadcast in light of the crimes. So, I mean, I can see...
I get that.
Oh, wait, duh, because it's Ted Bundy. That's why. My brain just...
Oh, it was Ted!
Yeah.
There we go. What's that guy's name? Who's that,
There was another killer down in Florida who did something similar around that same time. Who's like Tallahassee Killer or something like that. But yeah, no, I was like, this sounds familiar. Oh, yeah, because he killed a woman with a log. That's right, I forgot about that.
Right.
Oh, so, that guy, Ted Bundy. So yeah, this movie, man, this movie's fucking baller.
Really, yeah.
It really is.
It really is.
This is like, I don't know what to say. I'm going to say maybe 6th or 7th watch for me. I just fucking love this movie. I love it.
It's really good.
So we start off and we see this creepy guy like climbing into this attic, and you're like, the fuck? Well, okay.
Yeah.
And again, talking about that first person perspective, that's what you're seeing. Him climbing into the attic.
Looking through the window at these sorority girls, and then decides to scale the house up the lattice and enter through the attic. I wrote a mouth. We open on a sorority house having a party. Meanwhile, a mouth breather with a severely deviated septum stalks outside the house.
Yeah.
We all sat in front of somebody like that in class.
Or next to them in a cubicle. My first note is, party can start. Lois Lane is here. Margot fucking Kidder looked great in this movie.
Yeah, she did.
She looked great.
She was only how old was she in this movie? Like mid-20s, late 20s. She was older than the girls, I think, but
I think
not
so.
by a lot.
Not by a lot, but I mean, she'd already been Lois Lane at this point.
Yeah.
So
yeah. As we see the
ugliest Christmas tree on the planet.
Yeah, ever.
Oh my god, that fucking Christmas tree was disgustingly ugly. It was hideous. Like I wanted I wanted it to go aflame just like the Christmas Vacation.
Martha Stewart, that shit.
Yeah, I wanted it to.
Get a little closer to the fire.
Yeah.
So we're closing in on a party, that the sorority girls are having, and they have some boys on there.
There's some interesting fellas at this party.
Yeah. Good on Fro guy, though.
Oh my god, that Fro was amazing.
Yeah.
We get introduced to one of... I just wrote, oh, fuck, Chris is hot. Chris is fucking banging. You didn't like him? You didn't think he was good looking?
He's 70s hot.
Well, he had the face, though. I was like, I can't... I mean, we've talked about like people who are either dead now or like...
You're right. You liked his little beaver pelt, did you? I don't know if that was it.
I don't know if that was...
He had his fur coat on.
Yeah.
He's so Canadian.
I don't care.
Meanwhile, like halfway through... It wasn't until about halfway through this movie that I was like, that guy... The guy that plays Chris is straight up Canadian. Holy shit, his accent. Yeah. And Ray was like, yeah, it was filmed in Canada. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. I think that for us, the Andrea Martin should have been the clue on that one.
Me too.
I don't know if she comes down here for anything anymore.
So just before the party breaks up, Barb gets a bummer call from her mother, who apparently is a, quote, gold-plated whore.
I wrote that too. You're a real gold-plated whore, mother.
Love it. Boy.
Then we get the phone call.
Yeah, right after all the gentlemen leave, right at the gentlemen callers, right after they all leave, they get a call from a Harvey Fierstein knockoff that they call them the Moaner.
Barb is, you said Barb is Margot Kidder.
Yeah.
Barb looks kind of turned on.
Barb, yeah.
She's like she's into it a little bit. I was like, Barb, no. But that might just be the drink.
All the girls are surrounded by the receiver, right? Mm-hmm. And this, get out your history books, kids. These were all rotary phones, right? So there was no like speaker. There was not, but they're all listening to this. And this guy. Oh, I have some quotes, by the way. Do you have?
Oh, I do. I do too.
Yeah. The motor breathes heavily and screams obscenities, and this lasts for like a solid minute that they're listening to this. Let me lick your piggy little cunt, and other fun things like, I'll lick your pretty pig clit. Yep. I'm like a tuna farm, baby.
Yeah, nice.
What the fuck does that mean?
Well, then he ends it with, I'm going to kill you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's how he ends up. Yeah, no, I have no, tuna farm. Well, tuna, but I mean, I guess.
Thank you, subtitles. I would not have heard that because it was pretty indecipherable.
Again, we've stated that Lean and I can't hear anymore.
No,
so.
I'm sorry. What?
Who? What?
What?
Yeah, so I constantly have them on because I am.
So Barb tells him to So Barb tells him to fuck off, and then he's like, "I'm gonna kill you," and she hangs up, and she's like, "Whatever the fuck." And the girls are like, "Dude,
they're scared." I mean, Claire especially is very scared.
She is kind of the token,
like virginal-esque, which is funny because she's the one with the sex poster on the wall,
right?
But she's also the youngest.
She's also the youngest, and the most naive probably too. And Barb, gosh,
God. Bitch! I know.
She says to her, or the girl was like, "Yeah, but they're, we have to take these. We should take this more seriously. You shouldn't say things like that. There was a girl in town that was raped."
Yeah.
And then Barb responds with, "Darling, you can't rape a townie." Wow. So Barb is halfway down the downward spiral and is wasted.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. But Claire goes up to her room, starts to pack because her dad's coming to pick her up the next morning, and she is strangled in her closet, asphyxiated with plastic like they put over dry cleaning.
Yeah. Like a garment bag or whatever. I thought, I don't know if you noticed, but ever since you started talking about audio things, I'm starting to kind of listen for it more. What I found interesting was the use of loose piano strings during this time. There was like
they were plucking them?
Yeah. And they're loose, so they're, and almost like they were taking some kind of object and like scraping across, like piano strings, because it was kind of scrapey but also way out of tune, and it wasn't a piano like a drum thing or whatever you call that, the pedal hitting the striking the string. It was like somebody was scraping at like an upright piano. If you've ever, I don't know if anybody has ever seen an upright piano being taken apart and put back together, but this was something my old man used to do as a hobby, was do player pianos. And the strings would be exposed, and sometimes I'd like dong like hit it. But I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I mean it does, it's atmospheric for sure.
It
Definitely keys up because you don't, I mean, that's the thing about this movie. Like I said, it could be PG-13. You could literally like just
if it weren't for the language, it easily could have been.
Yeah, and the murders are very like, you do not see them for the most part.
What was the first Halloween? Wasn't it PG-13? Or was it R?
I think it was R.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Well, actually, because at that point, because it wasn't until like, it wouldn't have been PG. This was not PG-13 because they didn't have PG-13 yet.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next morning, Mr. Harrison comes to pick up Claire, but she's not there. We also get
we're introduced to
Peter. We also have to introduce Mrs. Mack.
Mrs. Mack!
So let's rewind, go back to the party. Okay. Mrs. Mack shows up and they give her the ugliest fucking shirt on the planet. It looks like a house coat or something. Yeah. It's ugly.
And Mrs. Mack is and I didn't realize this, but she was the house mother. And I kind of forgot about that because a girlfriend of mine, now in present day, the house mother isn't an actual grown adult. I mean, it is, but like, not an older person, like, because a girlfriend of mine was the house mother for her sorority, and she was like a senior. Yeah. So that's kind of how they do it nowadays. But back in these days, when things were a little more conservative and everything, the house mother was an actual like middle aged to to senior,
because they usually get free board.
Exactly. And she kind of took care of the house and everything. Mrs. Mack is the fucking bomb.com. She is hysterical.
There's liquor hidden all over the house.
She hides one in a book. She hides one in the back of the toilet.
The water tank.
The water tank.
And where's the last one? The last one's in the closet.
Yeah. Oh, but it was empty.
It was empty. I was like, shit. When she opened the...
And then there's one in her purse, I think.
Well, when she started opening the medicine cabinet, I was like, oh, she gonna start drinking Scope now? Is that what's happening? She gonna resort
pure
to that?
Rubbing alcohol.
Yeah, right. But she's funny. She's a funny character.
Because I'm assuming it's but that's the thing. I didn't want I would have, other than that, I would have assumed it was a dry house. But I mean, they just had a party with liquor. Yeah. And Barb gets drunk a lot. I don't know.
We have Jess. Jess is going to be our protagonist. She is like the heroine of this movie. Yeah. And we kind of get from her language when she's talking to her boyfriend on the phone that she's pregnant. And she's like, kind of like, I want to tell you in person. So she shows up, and we get to meet
to his. Okay, wait. And he. Oh, yeah. So she meets him at. He's a student of the conservatory at their college. Olivia Hussey, who plays Jess,
she's so pretty.
So pretty. I love her hair. Decides to have this, private conversation with Peter, her boyfriend, and she, like you said, tells him that she's pregnant. And here's the abortion talk.
Yeah, because
he says, you can't make a decision like that. Don't you ever consider anyone but yourself? Fuck you. But this was also 1974.
Literally the year
after Roe v. Wade.
And I think, honestly, Bob Clarke handled this very well.
For its time, yes.
Yeah.
Now, I don't
know. What do you mean?
So. Because
there was no shame or any sort of
none on her
put on her.
But he shamed her.
Well, right.
He was a total dick.
He is. Yeah, absolutely. But I think that's, to me, the way they make that character. I mean, by the end of it, you fucking want to kill Peter in general, just because he's a douchebag. He's a huge douchebag. So it's kind of his MO that he's going to be because part of it to me, I think, is he's not excelling at his craft, because he's a pianist. So he's not succeeding there.
Yeah.
That this is one thing he could have. And she's taking this away from him. Not that I'm not condoning what he says, but I think that's the thought process where he's at mentally. Yeah. Is this is one thing I've done. Now I can say that I'm a dad at least.
Right.
And
things were very different.
Very different.
A lot of things were very different back then.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't know how it would be different now. I mean, go ahead.
No, go.
No, I was just saying, I don't know if we'd have that even. Because I think anymore now guys are more along the lines of it is your choice.
Right.
So I mean that was kind of an interesting viewpoint.
Yeah.
Because you never really think about it.
Yeah.
I never think about men. I'm kidding, that's funny. I think about men all the time.
My God.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention before that before Jess goes to see Peter and tell him
there's a little bit there.
There's after we kind of fall around Mrs. Mack, hilarious. There's a part where we cut to Claire placed in a rocking chair in the attic with a bag over her head, and we hear and it's we don't again it's a point of view shot, but he's rocking the chair and he's singing this paraphrased version of Baby Bunting.
Oh, what is that?
Oh, it's like a nursery rhyme from the 1800s.
Did you look it up?
I did.
Okay. I'm looking it up.
It's fucking creepy. It's like little baby bunting, daddy's gone a hunting. And
oh, here's the lyrics. Okay.
Did you find it?
To wrap the okay, so bye, baby bunting. Daddy's gone a hunting. Gone to get a rabbit skin to wrap the baby bunting in. Gross.
Yeah, it's kind of gross.
But they had Struble Peter. Come on. I mean, Struble Peter's fucking nuts as it is. Won't cut off your thumbs if you suck your thumb too much. I mean, it was rough.
Yeah,
it was a rough period.
It was a very different time.
Yeah. Wild West.
And you had 16 kids back then. And you're like, bah!
Yeah, and you could, you all shared a bathtub. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right. But he, instead of calling her to wrap the baby in, he calls her Agnes. And we're like, who's Agnes? We don't find out yet. And then we go to the conservatory.
And they have this conversation. And at the same time, there's Claire's dad has shown up to pick up Claire, and they can't find her.
That poor guy.
And
he's very stoic and very conservative.
Yeah, but he's like, looking around, and he's like, shh, I don't like it. What he's like, I do not condone what she the path she's taking or how she's living her life, because he's looking around and there's this. It's a peace sign poster, but it's two people doing it, and it's. Yeah. I actually was like, I kind of want that.
I know. Symbolically, I really like.
Yeah, but there was liquor all over. She's it's very very funny and. But at the same time sad because she's upstairs.
Yeah.
But then
they never go in the attic, so nobody ever does. So they don't think to look.
So then they go to the sorority is hosting like a charity function for like underprivileged kids,
and Barb continues to role model children.
Oh my gosh! So the first thing we see of this party is this fucking Santa Claus holding a child.
Oh my god!
Saying like "fucking bitch" on this like Santa's got a dirty mouth, and this kid's kind of like looking at him like, what is happening?
So bad. Yeah, he's wearing, and she's feeding this one kid her drink.
Yeah, Barb is getting a fucking kid lit.
The house gets another creepy call. This time the caller plays multiple roles in his one-man show. Where did you put Agnes, Billy? Is one of the things that he says. Creepy.
Where is... I have this written here, and I don't know where it comes in. These broads would hump the Leaning Tower of Pisa if they could get up there. I think that's Nash.
That's one of... Yeah. No, that was Mrs. Mack. That was one of the things
Mrs.
Mack says to herself.
Yeah, that's right. Also, she at first I was like, is she a piece of Mr. Harrison? I think she might. I don't know. But no, by the end she was like, no.
Way too concerned.
Yeah.
So after the little kids party and they're, Claire's, there's still no sign of Claire. Her father, Mr. Harrison, I wrote Claire's father, what's her name, and Drunko Kidder go to the police.
Phyllis and Phil.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that Phil is Andrea Martin. So if anybody knows SCTV or any, Big Fat Greek Wedding, Lil Italy. But this is the best line. Is where so she goes to Nash. So this sergeant on the desk, his name's Nash, and he's a fucking doofus. And
derp.
100%. And she goes up to give him a phone number, and she's like, exchange fellatio 20880, and he's like, he just looks at her. She's like, it's new.
It's F-E. A new exchange.
It's a new exchange. FE. And he's like, well, how do you spell that?
See, I didn't realize that he didn't think that was a joke, because I thought he was like, really? Yeah. I thought that he thought she was joking with him until he asked then how to spell it.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
New to me. I hadn't heard of it. And I wanted to be like, of course you haven't. Of course you haven't heard of it, sir. You haven't had it done, nor have you heard of it.
Gross.
But I do have to say, later on, when that comes back as a callback, it is so fucking funny.
So good. At this point, I think, after they go to the police station to report the missing person, at the same time, Jess goes to find Chris, Claire's boyfriend, to see if maybe he's heard from her since, they had. And we meet Claire's boyfriend, Chris, and he's playing hockey, and he's Canadian. It's so weird watching older films.
Maple syrup. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Just that it's weird watching older films with exploiting stereotypes with such ease.
But I mean, if it's Canada, so I mean,
yeah. So it's, I guess
if you're filling it full of Canadians, and then we get Peter playing this piece. So it goes over to the conservatory.
I had to try to look up what it was.
It was awful.
It was really terrible.
I just wrote, I fucking hate modern classical music.
Yeah, it was unrecognizable.
It's like John Cage-esque bullshit. Yeah. I did write, because after he we don't see it here. It's like a couple scenes later where we find the panel that's watching him. Obviously, he's not doing it well because they're not looking at him very looking bored. Yeah. And he's sweating. Now, to let you in on a little secret, Wayne and I worked at a music school, at a music conservatory. So we've seen a lot of people play the piano. I've never seen someone sweat like that.
It depends. I have. When they're really intensely into it. I'll tell you one. Daniel. He was a sweater.
Yeah.
Perspirer. Yeah. But he's amazing.
Right.
Amazing. If any of you happen to be classical music fans out there.
Daniil Trifonov.
First name spelled Daniil. Last name is Trifinov. Brilliant. This kid. Yeah. He was a fucking kid. He was a sophomore at the college when he won the fucking Tchaikovsky Award,
Yeah.
the Tchaikovsky competition. And that is like the Oscars for classical musicians. Like he is that good. He's so good.
But anyway, a nice kid too. So I mean,
but it also like you can really tell too if they have a lot of hair.
Yeah,
and he had like floppy hair, and he would like.
Well, but I think that is also it's nouveau because to be that into it.
Yeah,
because you have ones like Van Cliburn was never played like that. Yeah, like, to where he was sweating. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the new thing is to get so dramatic. I think when hands are flopping everywhere. But anyhow, he obviously I must not do well. Again, I can't tell because it's modern classical music and I fucking hate it.
Yeah, I do too.
And he takes a mic stand and he
the bass of it and beats
the piano. And I'm like, that's why I was like, oh, John Cage. This is a John Cage piece.
And I'm like, excuse me. That's a fucking Steinway.
I was like, this isn't your property.
Excuse me.
That's the school's property.
Like, this is that piano costs your year's tuition.
Yeah.
In 74. I'm gonna guarantee it.
Because then later he bitches about having to share a dorm, like share a room with six other a shower with 6 other men. And I was like, well then don't fucking destroy pianos, dickhead.
Yeah, dude.
Anywho. Can you tell that we're very involved with like the music world?
Right. I was so after he beats up the piano, I was like, he's Def the Killer.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna call it right now. He's definitely the killer.
And right before this scene, we meet John fucking Saxon.
John Sexy Saxon. John
Sexy Saxon. I mean,
John Saxon. For those who may be a little more familiar, he played Nancy's father in Nightmare on Elm Street in the series.
For this genre, but I mean, he's been, so many movies.
So gorgeous.
He was a very good looking man, even up until towards the end, because he just. And it was really funny because I remember reading something where they're talking about, or maybe it was at one of those anthologies on Shudder. And they were talking about his hairline. His hairline kept going back and back and back and back. But I'm like, it didn't matter because in this one, his hair is very thin on top. There's something about his.
Is it the eyebrows or the eyes or both?
It's both, and it's
so striking.
His jawline and he's just
even in his old age, he was still very handsome.
Very handsome.
Ugh. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
He was in Enter the Dragon, Joe Kidd. He came back for New Nightmare too. And he was good looking in that one too. Yeah. But he's been on TV shows and stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, so
all the girls that are left, ? And Chris. Yeah. And Mr. Harrison all join a man because meanwhile, while they're at the police station,
that's how
simultaneously,
we meet John Saxon.
That's how we meet John Saxon. Is that he's interviewing this woman who is freaking out because her 12-year-old daughter is missing, Janice. And so that night, everybody joins in on this manhunt to like a search party to try to find this girl. And the college girls join because they're hoping that maybe they can also get a clue about Claire, maybe too. So they do that.
And then Claude, the cat,
Cloud
is in the attic looking on the plastic on Claire's bag that's on her face. Yeah. Why do cats love plastic bags? I don't know. They do.
Why do they also eat dead bodies? Don't know.
Yeah, but this is Claude in the attic. Meowing is what makes Mrs. Mack, because she's supposed to be leaving. Yeah. And makes her...
this is during... So all the girls are out of the house except for Mrs. Mack, who's packing and waiting for her cab. Got it. Okay.
And so...
And she hears Claude.
And part of me
meow! It was a low meow,
yeah, part of me thinks it might have been the killer just doing that so that he can get her up there. Possible. So she gets up in the attic with her head up in the hole, sticking out, and she sees Claire, and then she looks, and then she sees the killer, and he's got a hook.
And all we see are his hands.
Right. And he's very excited. We can see that, too. He's very excited, and he drops the hook, and we don't see anything. We just see her body getting pulled up. Like, her legs getting pulled up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because he's got, on an anchor, or like a
pulley.
Pulley, yeah. So, again, no bloodless, we don't see anything. But then he freaks the fuck out.
Oh, he freaks out. After the taxi cab leaves. Right. Mrs. Mack does not catch her cab, unfortunately. She's indisposed.
Yep.
And after the cab leaves, he starts freaking out.
And there's no rhyme or reason as to why, besides the fact that he's mentally
like just
unstable.
destroying things and like, Rah! Like screaming to himself.
Yeah.
Isn't Barb also passed out in the house at this moment?
She is, because she has. We missed this scene doesn't really do anything. It doesn't go anywhere.
Oh, right.
But she's fucking hammered.
Before they go to, after the charity thing, and before everybody agrees to go on the search party, Barb decides to lift Mr. Harrison's spirits by enlightening him on the breeding habits of turtles.
Yeah. I just wrote, Barb goes to the zoo and watches animals fuck, guys. I mean, that's what she specifically says. She goes, I went to the zoo and I went and specifically watched them. I was right. Okay, cool. I mean, if you got nothing else to do, I'm gonna go get hammered and just go to the zoo. Right. That's probably not a good idea.
Great. So then
they find Janice.
Yeah, the search party does find a body later confirmed to be Janice.
And it's kind of assumed...
They never show it, though.
Yeah, it's kind of assumed that this was another of Billy's kills.
So,
more prank calls.
Yeah, they're all dealing with that. I wrote Olivia. Yeah, mm-hmm. Olivia the hussy.
Oh.
She's not a hussy. She's awesome. So Jess runs home and answers a ringing phone because Barb is passed the fuck out. It's our friend with DID. Dissociative identity disorder.
Oh, uh-huh.
Back then, though, it was known as multiple personality, but now it's known as dissociative identity disorder. But this time, this is post his freak out, right? Yeah. He's asking for help and to be stopped.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad. It just a wee bit.
Yeah.
But then he's still talking in the multiple voices, and we're hearing, I think at this point we hear just about everybody. It's him, somebody like his father, and somebody like his mother to this point.
And they're talking about Agnes.
And they're talking about Agnes, which I gleaned from it was maybe a baby sister or something. But it's never said, but you can kind of glean from it. Like he left Agnes alone or something, and his so after a quick change, she calls police.
Oh, that's not before. So she puts the phone down, and Peter fucking shows up because she thinks
I can't believe I didn't write that
in the house. And I was like, way to be a creep, Peter. Way to be a fucking creep.
Oh no, I do have it. After a change, no, she's on the phone with police when he creeps up on her. So she calls the police to report the calls, finally, when Peter sneaks up on her from inside the house. So he has been in the house by this point, and he's like, I was taking a nap.
On your bed. I was like, okay, creep. All right. Cool,
he's
creep.
The killer!
And then she tells him, like, there's a girl missing. And he could look 2 shits about that.
He really couldn't. Just tells Peter about the murder girl and that Claire's missing. Quote, look, Claire's all right. Really, Peter? You fuck?
How do you know?
Why are men? Oh, and Peter advises that he's quitting the conservatory.
Yes.
And proposes, kinda.
I wrote, what a way to propose.
And his way of proposing is, I'm quitting the conservatory and we're getting married. And she's like, are we?
No, we're not.
We are?
None of this.
No.
And I love her for it. Because she's
Me too.
No, we're not. Because I have lived your dream. I'm living your dream right now. I want to go and have my own dream. And I can. And it does not include a child right now. So that's what's happening. You can go suck it. And I fucking... Yeah, and he, I also wrote, can someone kill Peter, please?
Honestly.
Peter, please.
Honestly, please. So Peter leaves in a huff while officers come to the house simultaneously to tap the phone.
Right, but before this is where the fellatio joke comes to fruition.
That's so funny.
So Saxon starts to call the house because she's, she's called and said that there was, these prank calls. And... And because Chris has come in, and Chris said they're getting these prank calls to the police officer because he knows Saxon.
Or I think Mr. Harrison overhears Nash on the phone with Jess.
Right, and Chris comes up
because he hears the address, and he's like, "Excuse me."
Yeah, and
that's
Chris,
why my daughter's missing.
Chris knows John Saxon.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Sexy Saxon.
what's her Fuller.
Ken?
Fuller.
Oh.
And he Officer Fuller or Lieutenant Fuller or whatever. And so he's like, no, you need to, this is important.
Right.
Like there's something going on. So that's why Saxon decides to call the house. And he picks up a piece of paper that Nash has written.
His buddy next to him in the
dying.
office is dying laughing, and Saxon's like, what?
And he looks at me like, is this for real? It was the fucking...
That guy had one of the best
that
laughs.
might have just been, like, they might just have... I don't know. To me, part of that feels like it might be real. Like, it might be a joke on John Saxon, the actor, because, like, he reacts like somebody fucked with him.
Funny. So good.
Let's see.
And he's like, and he approaches Nash with the number, and he's like, "Are you serious? You fucking idiot! I swear to God."
But yeah, like,
damn it, Nash.
They come. Fuller and this guy Graham from the phone company come to tap the house, and when they leave, fucking Peter's hanging out behind a tree.
Yeah.
Fucking creep.
And when they go to leave, so not only is Peter outside creeping by the tree, which you're like, he's a fucking killer.
Yeah, what a creep. No, hanging out behind trees and the like.
So they station an officer outside of the house in a car. And Peter's out there. So then Barb finally wakes up to an asthma attack and a nightmare, air quotes, of a stranger coming in her room. And she has an asthma attack as she's waking up. Jess goes to tend to her, and she's like, no, it's cool. And then she hears carolers or something when she gets back downstairs.
Which I wrote, is this to show Jess the child she'd be giving up if she aborts? Because it's like all these shots
too deep into that. Oh, right.
Of these kids.
And after a while, her face changes.
Yeah, and I was like...
Because at first she's like, oh, carolers, yay.
Yeah, and then it's very much like, I don't know.
It's a little uncomfortable.
It's very weird, because it goes on for a while.
Yeah, it does.
Like, it's not just like here's the end of the song. It's like a whole fucking verse.
Right.
But she just keeps looking at each of the children's faces, and I was like, oh, is that what they're trying to say here? They're trying to say that this is... Like,
I don't think they're trying to say... I don't think they're trying to say anything, but I do think they are making things uncomfortable for her. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because that, if they really were trying to say something, I don't think they would have been as subtle. Or I think they would have been... Yeah, I think they would have been less subtle about it. With her, like, maybe at the end she would decide to keep the baby. I don't know, whatever.
And this is where we're getting close to the end.
Yeah, we are.
It ramps up 100%.
So, yeah, from here on, it's like, 60 miles an hour. So the second time that someone comes into Barb's room, this is right after, Jess is downstairs listening to carolers that came by, and she's, so the sound is distracting her from anything else happening. Billy makes a second attempt on Barb, this time stabbing her with one of her glass figures, the pointed end of a unicorn. And this was 1974, right? I wasn't the only one that had a sibling that collected that shit, right? Like little glass figures, and you see them in the mall sometimes. They're made of Swarovski crystal and stuff like that.
Neither me or my
sister used to have a ton of them.
I know,
my mother does.
And I was always like, what the fuck
a waste of
money and
it's a knick-knack. Anyway, I don't like knick-knacks.
I don't either. But it's really let's
keep this train going. After that, Jess gets another call, and Billy
waits it out this time.
One of the things that Billy says is just like having a wart removed,
which is a
callback.
What Peter accuses Jess of being like, of treating the abortion as like just going and having a wart removed.
Fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And I wrote, "Come the fuck on, it's Peter."
And my note is Jess thinks the caller is Peter. But then he ends up calling.
Yeah.
Peter actually calls, and he's like crying. You can tell maybe he's a little drunk.
Yeah.
I don't know, something. And he's like, telling her not to abort the baby, and at the same time, she's embarrassed as fuck because she realizes
there's a cop listening to all this.
And it's
this
John
is a very
Saxon.
private matter.
Yeah, and it's John Saxon. Hello. I'd be like,
I was going to jump your bones later, but I guess not now.
But he's very
professional.
And very empathetic when he calls back and he's like, would you care to tell me what that was about? And so he starts to think it's
she's like, not really, but I guess I kind of, and he's like, dude, but
it's fine.
I need to know everything and all the people around you.
Because you might not think it's relevant, but it might be relevant.
It might be. Right.
And
no judgment, just tell me.
Right. But then he starts thinking it's Peter too.
Yeah.
But then he does bring up, where was Peter when these phone calls happened? And she's like, oh, well, he was here. He was here. It couldn't have been him.
He was, but how many phone lines are in the house, Miss Ray? How many?
Well, because the last call was long enough. Billy went on long enough that we could tap it, and we find out where's the call coming from?
It's coming from inside the house. I was like even a few minutes before this, I'm like, is this the first movie that did that? Mm-hmm. It's not. What was it?
When a Stranger Calls.
I should have known. Hitchcock. Yeah, the girl. Phil turns up at this point. Phyllis. They lock all the windows and doors. Some random people from the search party.
Yeah, and I don't know what that
with guns are like, hey,
girls, what's up? We'll be back later
doors
for you.
And windows, and they're like, okay.
Yeah, I would have been the same way. Right. Thanks, weirdos. Thanks. But the whole scene was just to say, oh my god, this is the only door that was locked. That was it. That was it.
But we needed it.
We needed it.
So Phil disappears into Barb's room. And I said, oh man, I liked Phyllis. There's another call. This time we see Billy dialing. Could this be in Mrs. Mack's room? Boom! So there are 3 phones in the house, you guys. 2, one is on the upper level and one is in the living room downstairs. Mm-hmm. On one phone line. Mm-hmm. Mrs. Mack, the house mother, has her own phone line. This was like a one-off, one-line rando thing that was mentioned earlier in the movie. Mm-hmm. That Mrs. Mack has her own phone line.
Yeah. Which would make sense.
It totally would make sense. But they didn't even think to...
Right.
Because they don't use it. So when Saxon realizes this... or is told that that's where the call is coming from, the same address. Mm-hmm. He calls Nash, derp, and tells Jess, he gives him very specific instructions. Do not tell her what's going on.
He says, Nash,
just get her out of the
if you blow this, I'll kill you.
I guess Nash is a dead man because he totally...
And I wrote, of course he fucks it up.
Right.
But I think, actually, I don't know what else he would have been able to say to get her out of the house.
True. Because at this point, she's like... Because her friends are still there, Barb and Phil, know? And I can't say that wouldn't have been the same way. Right.
Could be like, I'm going to go save myself. And...
Right. She goes upstairs and finds Phyllis and Barb in Barb's room, dead. Mm-hmm. And Billy is still in the same room.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But she gets a shot off. She hits him with the door.
Yeah. And she slams his hand in the door.
Mm-hmm. Also, one thing I just noticed in that scene that Barb's got a black wreath with liquor bottles on, and I was like, Jesus Christ, Barb, come on.
Right.
Come on.
Barb has zero chill when it comes to alcohol.
Barb was a hot mess.
Yeah, man. So they have a little cat and mouse through the house. She runs to the basement, and then footsteps go away, and then Peter shows up.
Yeah.
So the footsteps go away. She's crawling through the basement for like a little place to hide.
Right.
And then she hears like some whistling, like or Josh.
And there's like scraping at the window.
And he scrapes at the window, and it's Peter. Mm-hmm. And she's kind of like, her wheels are turning, and she's like, oh fuck. Mm-hmm. Is he the killer? Mm-hmm. And she's starting to like, he breaks in with the window, and he's not very, I mean, he does kind of say, what's going on? You know, are you okay? But he says the words, but his emotion behind it was really
I think part of it,
creepy.
I think he was drunk, too. I think part of it was he was hammered.
Possibly.
Yeah. Because at the same time, because at this point, Fuller and another officer, the other officer that was in the office with him, have gone to look for Peter and have seen the beat up demoed piano, and they're like, "Where is this guy?" Then they find the police officer, the one that's stationed at the house, dead in the car. Yeah. So they're
fucking
outside.
flying.
Yeah, they're outside. They can hear screaming inside.
Yeah. And cut to get in the basement. And they find Jess passed out with a beaten Peter in her lap. Because she was carrying around a fire poker this whole time. Yeah. Go, girl.
Well, Peter's dead.
And Peter's dead.
Right.
And then Jess is only just knocked out because she does kind of come to eventually. But she's like really halfway. I wrote, cut to Wait, what? We find Jess asleep. So I assumed, my brain made the quick assumption that we had a close-up of her asleep, and I was like, oh, she's in the hospital. No, she's not. She's in her own bed?
Yeah, and they leave her there. Everyone fucking just leaves her. I was like, this girl just had a horrible trauma.
What the fuck?
And she's pregnant. Can we, maybe...
She's pregnant. Drug the fuck up.
Right. Mel's not worried about the baby that she's got inside of her either.
No.
No. Yeah, I mean...
Because the one cop knows that. So, it's a very small town. This college town is a very small town. They don't have enough... medical
morgue
staff
space,
or,
I think,
or morgue, right, or hospital space for the bodies they found downstairs.
Plus, they haven't found the two upstairs.
They have not gone up in the attic. Nobody's gone up in the fucking attic yet.
Yeah,
except for Mrs. Mack.
Yeah,
she's still there, and so we find Jess asleep in her bed, surrounded by police who are going through the usual crime scene procedure. They're wrapping up. And almost as soon as it gets busy downstairs with reporters, everyone is gone.
Yeah.
And they're like, we'll leave Jess here. She needs to rest. Camera pans out. Someone turns off her light.
Yep.
Camera pans out to POV, right? Mm-hmm. To point of view cam, walking through the house, where we hear footsteps, laughing, and camera pans up to the attic with Claire and Mrs. Mack still in it. Then the camera cuts to outside from the attic window. And then we kind of start moving away from the house, zoom out from the house. There's a cop guarding the house outside.
Right.
Outside. And we hear the phone ring. Mm-hmm. Credits. So beautifully done.
It was just it's amazing because it's like you don't know who this person is.
No.
You don't know what their motivation is. You don't know if Jess lives.
No.
We don't. I mean,
so good. So well done.
Yeah, I mean it is.
That's a
faceless,
creepy,
nameless killer. It's,
and that is a creepy ending.
It's a very creepy
ending.
And
it's also open-ended.
Yeah.
Because typically, and I didn't really realize this until I was, again, watching some other people talk about it to kind of get their views and opinions, and this guy even said, he's like, I've watched this movie a ton of times over the years, but I didn't catch this. That, every time Billy kills, he calls. Mm-hmm. He makes a call. Mm-hmm. So we don't know. Did he kill Jess? We don't know.
We don't know. I mean, because there'd be no one to answer the phone if he did, though.
True.
So, because that's the whole point. It's the calls are catharsis for him.
Yeah.
So if no one's answering it, it's not really a catharsis. He's just calling.
So
great
creepy.
movie, so good, and
so
well
creepy.
acted. Pacing is great.
Pacing
is great because it's like
really
there's
good.
never slow. It's like from the get go. As soon as the first phone call, we're in.
I wrote the first kill is 12 minutes into the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
And I think part of it is the reason it's fast paced and everything like that is we don't have time. And the reason it's wonderful we don't know anything about Billy is because we don't have time. We don't have time to learn about Billy.
No.
We have girls to kill. Come on, let's go.
Oh my god.
And I'm sitting here thinking about it. It's like he didn't kill any men.
No, he didn't.
Yep.
Nope.
No. Oh, so.
Oh boy.
Let's do some ratings on this.
Yes. Voulez-vous?
Okay, so first is blood droplets, right?
Yeah. Blood and gore.
Ooh, 0. I mean, there's no blood. There's no blood. I mean, and that's fine. With ghost movies and shit, usually don't have blood
and same with
gore.
Halloween. Halloween didn't have a lot.
No, I mean...
I gave it 2. Just because of also the gore factor. Because Claire's body was up there for a while.
Yeah,
and Mrs. Mack's body was hanging there a while. Yeah. And then there's the unicorn stabbing.
Well, we say a while. It's only been a day.
I know. I did write a note at some point, but I'm like, yeah, would have been kind of dumb because I forget. It's like you said, how fast this is because it's only a 24-hour period.
Yeah, it's literally like a whole day.
Yeah.
I'll say 1. I'll say 1.
Sure. Spooky, scary.
This movie's creepy as fuck. So I'm gonna say 3.
Me too. Yeah. I said 3 as well. It was so, like you said, it was well paced.
Yeah.
It was creepy as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
We do see the killer's face, but not full face. We only really see one of his eyes and like a shape, a shadow, a silhouette.
Yeah.
That is all we get, which is really good. Sex romance.
I mean, I assumed that everyone wanted to have sex with John Saxon. I'm gonna
Black
say...
Hearts.
Well, we didn't say anything for it.
Oh.
So, 2.
I gave it a chili pepper.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's their eggplants.
I gave it...
Well, I'm gonna say, because we have 2 of the really good-looking men in it, I'm gonna say...
And some language.
I'm gonna say... a half an eggplant.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I, again, would climb Chris like a tree. With his fur jacket on, even though I hate fur jacket. I hate
just the fur jacket.
Yep.
Black Hearts.
How much fun did I have? Oh, I have fun with this one.
Me too.
This is a 4 for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, it's right up there with because I think I said the same thing for Halloween too.
I think I said 3, but I'm gonna give it a 4 too. I mean, I can do what I want. It was really fun.
Yeah. So we recommend 100%.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is a new Christmas tradition for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's
good movie.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. It's not Christmas until Billy stabs someone with a unicorn horn.
I mean, ho ho ho.
Do you want... Okay, why don't we do this? We'll take a break. We'll come back and talk about 2019. And then I will give you a little bit, because it does go with this one. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
2006 answers all of these questions.
How fun for
Yeah.
us.
So we'll be back in 2 and 2.
All right. Break time.
We're back. I got more to drink because I'm going to need it.
Oh boy. You guys.
Okay, so I'm going to give a little synopsis. I watched 2006. It was not part of the assignment, but I thought I'd watch it just to get like an idea. I was like, well, what the shit? It had
I did not have time this week. I'm so sorry.
It's okay, but I do recommend to go back and watch it because it's fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
Michelle Trachtenberg's in it.
Yeah, I love
Lacey
her.
Chambert's in it.
Yeah.
Andrea Martin's in it.
Oh.
Andrea Martin plays Mrs. Mack.
Nice.
Yeah. So the names are similar. I know this looks like a lot of notes, but I'm going to go really quick.
Okay,
and hit the high notes.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. So we've got, your normal group of girls, so similar group of girls.
Yeah.
Same thing, except we're really focusing on the Billy character. Like, we open in a award for the criminally insane, and my first thought was like, is this Arkham? Is this Batman? Where's Batman?
Arkham. Where's the Joker?
Well, pretty much. I mean, it's very cartoony. It's very campy, very cartoony.
Aw, now I kind of wish I watched it.
I know. I mean, there's parts in it. Okay,
Campiness.
so Billy breaks out, and because he stabs a guard in the neck with a candy cane that he made into a shank.
Sure.
Yep.
Sure.
So he gets. So at the same time, like, you're seeing him like break out of the prison, but at the same time, like you're assuming it's the same time girls are getting murdered in the house. You're like, well then, can't be Billy because if there's already. So you just start to see. You don't get the same experience of being first person.
Yeah.
It's more along the lines of you see this thing with straggly hair, like long hair.
Like they did with Michael Myers and Rob Zombie.
Yes.
Yeah. You never see his face, but you see his hair.
So I'm going to tell you the story of Billy, because the rest of it's just the same, women getting killed. Oh, there is one, so instead of Jess being pregnant, we don't have that. We have one of the first girls to get killed. I can't think of her name. Has slept with our heroine's boyfriend, Kyle.
No.
Who is Oliver Hudson. Yeah, Kate Hudson's brother. I was sitting there going, he's handsome. Who is that? And I looked him up. I'm like, ew. And so she has a sex tape with him.
Oh,
and somebody had posted it online. So she's like, she's threatening him.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to tell what's your face, whatever the lead girl's name is, Kelly, I think it is. I don't know. If you don't tell her about it, I'm going to like, I'm going to show her.
Right.
Or if you don't take it down, because I think he posted it online.
I
think they don't really talk about exactly what was happening, why, because you just, anyhow, again, more that you need to know for this story. So she's the first one to, oh no, she's not the first one to get ganked. It's like a Claire. Okay. Claire is like this, I don't know what the character's name is. She's waiting to, I am sure it's in my notes, but again, I'm not going to read them all. She is getting ready to meet her sister. Her sister and her mother are coming to pick her up the next morning. They're going to go away for Christmas. And so she gets killed immediately. So, but at the same time, Billy's breaking out of jail. Yeah. So you're like, well, obviously can't be the same person. And, then you learn Billy's story. So, Billy, in 1970, cool. Was born in 1970, was born with a condition that makes his skin yellow, so he looks like one of the Simpsons. Okay. Yeah. His mother can't stand him because he's yellow, I guess. Not jaundice? Not jaundice. No, it's something, they said like, what's his face in Sin City? Do you remember that? I never watched it. I'm sorry. Anyway. But so he's kind of like a shut-in after that. But his mother hates him, and she's like horrible drunk. Yeah. And his father's the good guy.
He's like, yellow. That happens. Anyway, fetal alcohol syndrome. Anyway.
Maybe. Anyway. So it's like there's tension between the mother and father. And so his name's Billy, obviously. Oh. So he sees one night the mother has had fucking enough, I guess, in her brain, and kills the father. Right. And then with her lover, buries Billy's dad under the house. Perfect. Yeah, he sees him. He actually has been watching them, and he sees them burying her, and they catch him watching. And so they lock him in the attic. Oh. And he makes a little house for himself up in the attic. Oh, no. Wait. Just wait. So we cut, it has to be 16 years in the future, something like that. We see this pretty crazy sex scene where the mom and the stepdad are fucking on the stairs. Oh. He falls asleep because they're both drunks. Yeah. So she's like, I'm not done. So she goes upstairs to the attic and has sex with Billy. Oh! What? 9 months later, has a baby. No, come on, guys. What? What's that baby's name?
Is it Agnes?
It's fucking Agnes. Oh, no. And she says, he hears her say, she is my only family now. And she's obsessed with this little girl. Unfortunately, they made this little girl look inbred. I mean,
because she was.
So fucking so it's about 7 years later, 7, 8, and it's Christmas. And Billy's they leave Billy a present, and it is a telescope. And you're like, why do something nice for him? You're locking him in the fucking attic, which I'm like, how are they doing that? How is he eating? Right. Anyhow, questions the movie doesn't answer, and that's fine. Movie magic. And so he looks through the telescope. They gave it to him just so he could see the happy family across the street. This poor child. Well, at this point, he's a man. He's 23 years old.
Jesus, Murphy.
Yeah. He's fucking done. Yeah. So he comes downstairs. And he's standing behind the tree, and Agnes can see him. And the mom goes in to do something. She's making cookies, and she goes in the kitchen to do something. And She comes back out and Agnes is gone.
Oh.
So she thinks he kidnapped her. Well, he comes the fuck out and he stabs his stepfather with a glass ornament.
Yeah.
Like, with a, like, looking like that unicorn.
Yeah.
And kills him. Well, they come out and he has been... You think that's right, because you think he's trying to suffocate Agnes with a plastic bag. And doesn't get it done, but however, he does pull her eye out and eat it. He eats her eye. You're looking the look on your face. It's just, I wish you could see it, guys. Oh, it gets worse.
Oh, worse than, oh my God.
No. So then the mom runs to the kitchen.
Sure.
Billy chases her, strangles her with Christmas lights, kills her, then gets a cookie cutter off of the counter and puts it in her back and starts cutting out shapes.
Oh.
Puts it on a cookie pan and puts it in the oven. They catch him sitting. The police come sitting in the dining room table, and at the dining room table eating flesh cookies. Yup. And that was the part that made me want to gag, because they close up on his mouth.
Oh,
I was like, no. I mean, teeth things bother me too. So it's eyes and teeth. And so, come to find out, it's Billy is coming home. Billy's coming home. So that's why that's where he's coming from, and he's coming to get, because he says in the phone calls he starts making are very similar to the ones in 74.
Sure.
But he does say, she's my family now. She's my only family now.
So where's the fucking Agnes?
So Agnes had been in a like a sanitarium, because they're like, no one's gonna adopt this. It was so horrible. They're like, no one's gonna adopt this inbred child. I was like, probably not. I mean, no, probably.
She's been through enough.
She's been through a lot, and
let's not put her through a fucking crazy foster family.
Well, then she probably had some things going on upstairs that probably needed some help. We find out she did, because she's the one who's murdering all the girls. But it's definitely a dude. It's definitely a dude, like, playing the part of Agnes. It's kind of genius. I kind of love it, because they didn't like make a poor woman do this. Like, but it is like, I looked it up. I was like, that is a dude. Cool. Awesome.
All right.
But so what's going to happen is Billy wants he and Agnes to live in this house.
Yeah.
Like forever. Like that's what he wants.
Agnes, you gotta like clear out the house.
Yep,
first.
pretty much. So they like literally kill everybody. I mean,
both or just her?
So she kills pretty much everybody. I think by the time you see him physically in the house, she's killed most of the sorority girls. Yeah, I mean, literally everybody dies, except for one girl's left. And he gets, they both make it. They both pull a Michael Myers, and they get him to the morgue, because they're supposedly dead. I mean, the last set piece in the house it's on fire, and they get the two living girls get out. Yeah. And one's in the hospital because she got a broken leg, I believe. But Billy and Agnes come out of their body bag.
What?
Yep. And start a murder spree in the hospital.
Oh my God.
Agnes, I can't remember how she's killed. It probably says, but Billy is pushed over like a railing, and it like gets impaled in a Christmas tree. So I just gave away all the stuff to it, but I think it's seeing is believing. I think it's so bad it's good. Flesh cookies.
No.
It's fucking bonkers.
As much as
it's fucking bonkers, and for some reason the Nutcracker music plays through all of it, like all of it, like
because it's what you call it when it's so old that it's free.
Public domain.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's it. It has to be something with the story. I couldn't figure out what it was, but like some of the cell phone rings are like, Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies, but like the music, like when Billy's mom's listening to music at home, it's the Nutcracker. It's just very odd. It's very odd. I don't know. But I actually kind of would recommend it just because it's fucking weird. It's fucking bonkers. Like I can't even. But that's how they took that story. Also, Bob Clarke, executive producer.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bob Clarke, how dare you?
Also, I think that one has a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Why doesn't that surprise me? What does this next one have is what I like to know.
Oh, you know what? I didn't look it up. So why don't you intro it, and I'll tell you.
God, you guys. Okay. So that was 2006. Ugh. Black Christmas 2019 came out 3 years ago. 2, I can count. Well, almost 3. Whatever, 2.5. So, all you really need to know about this movie and how it relates or not to the 1974 Black Christmas is that it centers on a sorority and
that's pretty much it. In fact,
and one of the characters' names, but not the lead girl, is Jess.
Yeah,
that's
there was
really
one of the IMDb trivia was like, this is the only connection it has to, and this
is about the only. Yep, that's it. That's really it.
What a piece of garbage. Anywho,
right. It's a total trash bin.
Yeah, I mean, I do have some production notes on this movie.
Hey Blumhouse.
Yeah, Blumhouse. Well, part of this, I hate to say it, I think it was because Jason Blum had said something kind of like sexist. I think he didn't mean it to sound like something along the lines of, there's so few female directors and a lot of them are interested in horror. I don't think he's wrong. I don't think
that's a sexist statement. I think that's a fact.
I think he got criticized for it. It's like, well, then in my...
Great, then find me more female directors, you fucks.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Dude.
And I think
that are interested, and I'll hire them.
I think that was why he went with... Because it was like almost months after that they announced that they were going to do Black Christmas.
Yeah.
So I think that's where... but he's not wrong. But that's not his fault.
No.
I mean, we've talked about this. There's just... Because Hollywood, for the longest time, has ostracized women. Especially female directors.
Right. What's the title of that one documentary you mentioned last time?
Teen one.
Oh, this
39.
changes everything.
Yeah, this changes everything.
Hashtag this changes everything.
39%, which I'm very angry about.
39?
Yep.
Fuck
Because honestly, it had more... the 2006 had more fucking coherence in this piece of garbage.
Yeah, agreed. This is not...
This whole movie, and you can tell... was filmed, pre-produced, filmed, and produced in 5 months. That is unheard of.
Yeah.
In New Zealand.
Yeah.
I mean, that's unheard of.
This was a fast one. Like, let's do a holiday movie. Holiday horror. Boop.
Yep. And they wanted to use... So they had to use the black blood, because if too much red blood, you get an R rating for that. So that's why the black blood in this. Really? Which the black blood that comes out of the cult symbolizes toxic masculinity.
It's taking itself way
This
too
movie
seriously.
is like woke.
This movie,
woke upon woke. Like,
no, I disagree.
It's trying to be.
What was I going to say?
It did not endear me
It took itself too seriously.
Oh, there's no fucking subtlety here.
No.
Nothing. Like, this is
gross.
Just...
Okay, all right, let's tell them why.
Okay.
We open with a quote. Did you write it? I did.
No, took a picture.
Okay.
But you wrote it. Go ahead.
Quote, man possesses powers so formidable they can only be considered supernatural. With a proper education, men can wield these powers and go forth into the world. Quoted, Calvin Hawthorne, founder of Hawthorne College, 1819, where our story is set. Next.
I'm just looking at you. I'm just so fucking mad at this movie.
I am so angry. We get to a bunch of men reciting the words fraternitas fratrum. Now, in attempting to look up the translation, there's no real direct translation of the two words. There are things like it. Like, fraternitas could mean, like, brotherhood. Mm-hmm. Right. So, we already know we're in a college at this point. We see a bunch of dudes in robes. Well,
dildos. Yeah.
Dildos, yeah. With condoms. They're cloaked, and they're reciting in deep voices, Fraternitas Fratrum. The Moravian Church, or the Moravian Brethren, formerly the Unitas Fratrum, in Latin means unity of the brethren. So a brotherhood of brothers?
Brothers. A
brotherhood of man. But
okay, so I personally think this movie is like just hating on men just to hate on men. Part of it.
Yeah.
This is like, I mean, and I am you and I are probably very big feminists.
Yes.
And this movie.
But I also believe life is equal opportunity, is and should be a two-way street.
Right.
It goes both ways.
Right. I also don't care for things where it's like,
I don't care for it.
I don't care for things that are like, all men are the devil. And I'm like, yeah, not all men are the devil. Come on, like, just.
But they even say that in the movie. They kind of reference that in the movie too later on when the girls are arguing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
as I wrote down, I go, we got some guys with a weird seance balls and shaft club here. I was like,
God.
I think it's really funny when you hear about these secret fraternities at colleges. I was like, what fucking nerds?
Yeah.
Nerds!
Yeah.
God.
I'm all about history and stuff like that, but the traditions that go along with it, I'm not, or doing ridiculous things to be to pledge yourself.
Yeah.
For a fucking group that,
right.
And apologies to those who are or have been part of a fraternity or sorority or some kind of, social group through college that had good experiences with it. I'd love to hear from you, because I've only ever heard negative things. Not to say that only negativity exists, of course, again, because this is a two-way street. Mm-hmm. What should be and what commonly is, and, what are unfortunate, it's also part of an unfortunate stereotype, right? Mm-hmm. That, because the only things you hear in the news are fucking...
Well, this movie,
frat boys getting alcohol poisoning and dying from fucking alcohol enemas, from box wine enemas.
Right.
Where...
Well, this movie was literally just written, because it was around the same time, it was written to make a statement about the Brock Turner case. Which I was like, there are better...
Yeah.
There are better, platforms to do this.
There really is.
This is like... Literally, one of my notes is... where was it? What the fuck? There's a house, they get creepy calls, that's it. What the fuck is this? Because that's Black Christmas. What, 74 and 2006, creepy calls, that's it. We got one call in this, didn't we? We got one call. One call
that turned out not to be.
Right.
It actually was one of the girls' moms.
Right. So
it was first we start off with, it's all texting.
First we got Una got Lindsay a dildo. Isn't that great to know?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Wait till we get to Diva Cup, girl.
Yes, I have that too. Okay. So cut to a sorority house, Secret Santa. Lindsay is walking home from the library. She gets a text from a Calvin Hawthorne.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Like a pig emoji.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wrote,
and it's
she's
being followed
by a creepy Chris O'Dowd. He kind of looks like Chris O'Dowd.
We never get we don't get a full close up of his face. It's pretty quick, but yeah, he did kind of look like.
No, we see him. Mm-hmm.
Oh, mm-hmm. Gross. And another text. I wrote down the jokes. The text says, "What do a Christmas ham and a sorority girl have in common?" What do they have in common, Ray?
I don't remember the joke.
They both squeal before they die.
Oh, Jesus.
I know.
Giant dick.
Seriously.
This is when she does she puts her keys between her fingers.
Good girl.
I know. I thought that
I was yelling at the TV. Good girl. That's what you do.
And
that dude goes away. Then she's confronted by a hooded, cloaked figure who chases and stalks her before brutally stabbing her with an icicle.
And she dies in like an snow angel. Like it's almost looks like she's making a snow angel.
Yeah.
And that's
not an accident.
That imagery, I actually did like that.
I kind of did too.
I thought that was very clever.
And she was said to be like,
the youngest.
Their Claire.
Yeah.
She was, the token virginal character, although I think she might have had a boyfriend, maybe.
Yeah.
But was,
because I think they got the dildo to make up for because she had just gotten broken up with.
Oh, right. Because not virgin necessarily, but virginal, or, naive, ingenue, whatever, term you want to use. So, yeah, the imagery I was okay with. And their cat's name is Claudette.
Yeah, I got excited about that. It was a cute cat, too. But we learned pretty quickly that our lead character, Riley.
Oh.
I do like the name Riley.
I do, too. Riley Stone
had been raped by a former student who had thus graduated.
And Brian brother.
Yeah, Brian Huntley.
Right.
And the reason I say his whole name is because they fucking say his whole name about a goddamn 1,000 times in this movie.
Brian Huntley.
Which again,
Brian Huntley.
So then we get to this scene.
Okay.
She's fucking in her room.
This girl, I think your name is?
Which one? Fran. This fucking weirdo comes in and she's like super excited about not having a diva cup, and so
she's like, I can't find it anywhere. And Riley points. And Fran goes in the little drawer, whatever, grabs one.
Then proceeds to insert it in her pants. For one, I'm like, that can't be. That
she's got some high waisters, in all fairness. However,
also, I can't believe that has been inserted correctly. Because if you don't put it in correctly,
there's no fucking way.
Yeah,
because TMI, I use one. I love it.
Yeah.
That being said, I would be horrified if someone put in their diva cup in front of me, not to mention, borrow mine.
Right?
It's one of those things.
Toothbrushes.
It's the toothbrush thing, right? I wouldn't, a menstrual cup is, you sanitize after every use by boiling it, right? So it is sanitized.
I've never used one, so I don't know.
So it is sanitized, yes?
Yeah.
But that was still inside my body.
Right.
I would not. That's not like, hey, can I bum a tampon?
Right.
You don't get someone's used tampon. I mean, that's a little different. But you know what I mean?
No, if you came in,
I would not ask to borrow your toothbrush.
Well, if you walked in this,
no matter how bad my breath was,
and you were like, "Hey, do you have a diva cup?" And I'd be like, "Here you go." And if you put it in your body in front of me, I'd be like, "Get the fuck out of my house!
Seriously,
get the fuck out! We are no longer friends. Get out!" Anyhow, so this Fran girl's a weirdo.
God, a delightful weirdo, but a weirdo nonetheless. Oh my God,
I was sad to see her get
my girlfriends and I are close. We ain't that fucking close. No. And she's not just she inserts it right in front of her. She's looking right at her as doing
almost
it,
challenging her.
You're staring at her.
Watch me do it.
After this diva cup horror incident,
we also learned that Riley's an orphan. I mean,
sad.
They go on about 40 minutes. Got it. Got it.
We zero in on Riley Stone. Cool, a very chill,
I love
hipster, and simple gal who no longer seems to enjoy the limelight because
she's been sexually assaulted.
Because she was, and then cut to class, or do you have something before that?
No, I have Carrie Elwes is fucking sexy.
Oh yeah,
also
we're in class with sexy Carrie Elwes.
Imogene, I just called her Imogene Poops, which makes me laugh. Imogene Poots, I like her a lot. I liked her in Fright Night. She's really good in Fright Night. She plays the girlfriend.
Oh yeah, she was good.
She's really pretty.
She was good.
They kind of playing her up in this one, and I think it's because she doesn't want to be standout.
Right.
Yeah.
She probably used to be a little more girly, right? Yeah. But after something like that, it tends to she's clearly traumatized from the incident, and who could fucking blame her? Right? Jeez. So we cut to class, and sexy.
So Carrie Elwes is supposed to be the character of Gelson, Professor Gelson, is supposed to be what's the professor Peterson, Jordan B. Peterson. That's what it's supposed to be a parody of that guy. I don't know.
Fucking sucks, but cool. So
And so does Carrie Elwes in this, unfortunately.
It's very unfortunate because he's very sexy.
He'll probably cut all that off because I don't know. Yeah.
Enough plastic surgery, man. Enough. You're done. You're cut off.
Yeah,
he's had his eyes done. You can tell.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Did you see the Christmas movie on Netflix with him in it?
I didn't. I wanted to see it.
Oh, it's so good. He does have this Scottish accent. I said I went into it. I said if he doesn't have a Scottish accent, I'm going to burn this house down.
He's fucking gorgeous. Anyhow,
for
anybody that doesn't recall or doesn't recognize the name Carrie Elwes, he was famously he played Wesley / Dredge Pirate Roberts. What did I call him? Dread Pirate Roberts in The Princess Bride.
Yeah, and he's not unknown to horror franchises.
No,
because
he was also in Saw and
with his really not great American accent.
God bless him.
Murder.
He was also in, what was it? He was the main protagonist, or the main antagonist, I should say, in Kiss the Girls.
Yep.
That was such a good movie. Ugh, with Ashley Judd and Morgan Freeman. Anyway, sexy Carrie Elwes as Professor Gelson, who is currently being petitioned against to be fired for misogynistic teachings. He seems to look right at Riley when he talks about that in class.
Well, and so we learn in a couple scenes later that the reason that they want him to get rid of him is because he's teaching Victorian literature. Is that what it is?
Yes.
And it's
which are mostly written by men.
Right. And I was like, well, I mean, you have a few.
You can't really, right.
But if he's not doing any of them, I'm like, then yeah, you should bring
blatantly ignoring, but...
Right. But I'm like, it's kind of hard.
What do you... But they also make... The girls, after class, they also kind of make that point. So So after class, we cut to Chris, who is one of Riley's sorority sisters, actively trying to get signatures for said petition.
Yeah, and if
she's the one behind. That's kind of I don't know what phrase it is I'm trying to use. She's the catalyst, not the catalyst, but she's the one mainly behind wanting to get him fired.
Right. She's the instigator.
The instigator. Thank you.
Yeah, but those of you who watch. Leverage Redemption. She's on Leverage Redemption. I can't think of it.
She?
Yeah, she plays like the new character.
Yeah. I liked her.
Yeah.
Her character.
She's also really pretty.
She's gorgeous. She has she's
striking eyes.
She's African American and has the most gorgeous hair.
Oh my god!
And her eyes are light colored. Yeah. I think they're green.
Yeah, they're green.
Elise
gorgeous. Shannon. That's her name. She's beautiful.
Gorgeous girl.
So after... I didn't hate her at all, like in this movie. Even though they go to lengths to make you want to hate her, and I'm like, I don't,
because she's the other extreme.
Yeah, like they go to lengths to be like man hating sort of thing, and I was like, I don't
straight up.
Yeah,
but
I like the character. I like this actress so much that I was like, I didn't.
Yeah. It was a very wise choice casting her, I'll say, because
it could have been, she could have been.
We all know somebody like this,
right? It could have been somebody who was like you lose the audience right away.
Yeah,
but yeah,
she at least has redeeming qualities.
Yeah.
So after class, Riley joins her friends, Chris, the ones who's gathering signatures. They talk about how same person, Chris, got the college to remove the founder's bust, citing that Calvin Hawthorne's racist and misogynistic beliefs should not be supported, but he's the founder of the fucking college. Why'd you go there?
That was what my thought too. I was like, well, I mean, I was like 100% like, yeah, let's do that. But at the same time, I was like,
but at the same time,
why would you go there?
Right. I wouldn't. If I felt that passionately about it, then I wouldn't. But again, maybe she's just one of those people that she's a game changer. That's what she wants, and that's kind of her lot in life, and that's fine. But again, Hawthorne allegedly, they discuss this, allegedly killed, quote, disobedient women in ritual sacrifices to male pagan gods. As they converse, someone is watching them from a window we never see. Is it Gelson? Then they follow Riley to the coffee shop where she works.
Yeah. And then we meet Landon. Landon is adorable.
He's a cutie.
Caleb Eberhardt. He's a cutie. About
like
really 6'7". I don't know. He's super tall.
Oh yeah,
super cute.
And like very lanky. Yeah.
And he's got a crush on Riley.
And he's wearing very unfortunate glasses, but like...
Oh, yeah. And those sweaters. He's wearing like Cosby,
they really kind
Dr. Huxtable sweaters.
Yeah. They're trying to like I don't want to say nerd him up, but like, well, kind of.
Yeah.
Because he's very, very handsome.
He's very handsome.
So I think they were kind of trying to downplay that a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, maybe making that a little more quote unquote safe for Riley. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, it could be. He's also like very noticeably one of the only African American men in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In maybe the entire college.
It could, and
well,
honestly,
but and then given the views of the Hawthorne dude,
yeah,
they're probably the token black people in their college.
Chris and yeah,
right. Because if you know that, that's like going to fucking
Stonewall Jackson University,
Brigham Young University, where you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know you're gonna be the only
non-Mormon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking of like a fake college, but like like you go to Stonewall Jackson. I'm like, I'm not going to Stonewall Jackson University.
Fuck that. No.
Yeah. But you know what they did? Didn't they change recently? What's the Ann Lee College? It was something Ann Lee, and they changed it.
Mm-mm. I don't know.
They changed it because of the name, because of Robert E. Lee, I thought.
See, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Well,
of.
and then
like if there was a college named after the head general or whatever of the fucking Confederate Army, then I'd be like, fuck that.
Well, it's kind of like going to Jefferson,
Thomas Jefferson
University, and he's like, there's some like a lot of questionable shit in his background.
Is that the only college you got accepted? Is that the only one you got accepted to? Is there maybe a better one you want to go to? Is that the only college in town? Is that the best choice? Is there a better choice for your major?
You're doing fashion? You can't do fashion somewhere else?
No, that's fine. I mean, oh my god. How about Brown? Anybody? Frat boy douche nozzle comes into the coffee shop.
Yeah, and
not the guy,
but like a guy,
but one of the boys from the frat, where she was accosted, where she was assaulted.
Right.
I was starting to get kind of hammered by this point, so I wrote really nasty notes.
Yeah, my notes. I was telling Wayne before I said my notes start getting. I'm looking at them very closely, going. I have no this movie right now is like wisps of memory. I feel like I need a pensive.
Right. This is this is
where Helena gets it, right? Because she's packing drunk to go home.
Later.
No.
They do the talent show.
No, that's before. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. These notes are.
I did too many notes, to be perfectly honest.
Okay,
I almost did scene by scene.
Lead me through this then.
Oh God.
But this talent show, I mean,
leave me on.
So it's supposed to be Mean Girls. That's what they're supposed to be doing. Is doing the skit from Mean Girls, but they've changed the song, and it was actually written by a singer-songwriter.
Because it played in the credits.
Yeah.
Okay, so the douche.
Did you write them down?
Yes, I did.
Would you like to perform it for us?
I'm not gonna perform, but I will recite it as a poem.
Okay.
Okay. So we're in the coffee shop. Frat boy douche nozzle comes in to get coffee and taunts Riley about some cheese fart named Brian. At this point, you didn't know what his name was.
Brian Huntley.
Brian Huntley.
Brian Huntley.
Smells like he raped her 3 years ago. So
smells like.
Well, because they didn't outwardly say his. But it was alluded to. So anyway, Riley goes to a frat talent show despite her past.
Oh, I get you what you said. I was like, I didn't understand what you meant. I was like, smells like. I'm like, oh, that's like you're sleeping
it up.
You're sleeping it out. Got it. I'm picking up what you were throwing out there.
That guy, Dimitri Martin, I think that was one of my favorite quotes of his is like, he's a comedian. He was like, I find whenever I have to investigate a smell, I find that the answer is always bad. It's never, what is that? Muffins.
What's that joke with Mike Birbiglia? When they ever say, we found something in your colon, and it's never something good. It's never like, we were doing some surgery in your colon, and we found 2 tickets to the Yankees!
Yeah, exactly. Never good.
No.
So, this girl that Riley is kind of mentoring through her sorority, Helena, she's getting roofied. Yeah. Okay, so I'm there. Okay, hold on. Riley goes to a frat talent show despite her past.
Yeah.
She goes to look for a sorority sister, Helena, walking through this frat where we see a painting of past frat boys, including...
Brian Huntley!
Yes. Brian Huntley. And... I'm sorry, I never use that word, but... And who else, Ray? Sexy.
Oh...
Carrie Owens. A younger picture of him very clearly looks like Wesley from Princess Bride.
These paintings are a little much. Like,
a bit.
What fucking college?
Give me a fucking break.
Balls
so there's
and
Professor Gelson on the wall and Brian Buntley. She then sees a painting of Brian Huntley, her offender. She walks in on a pledge ceremony. Very strange.
Right.
In another room, she finds Helena, who is making out with this fart knocker who is set on having sex despite her vocalized objections.
The black goo leaking out of Caleb Hawthorne's bust. That's the toxic masculinity.
Yeah. This is the whole thing. So when Chris petitioned to have the bust of Calvin Hawthorne removed from whatever common area at the college, this frat agreed to take it. So and they found that it was like crying black goo like the Virgin Mary. And it was leaking this black ichor. I love that word, by the way. Ichor. And so they decided to take it, and they've been using. And that's the goo that they use to like put something on pledges' foreheads.
Do some Ash Wednesday stuff.
Yeah, basically. To like pledge them in. It's one of the things. And so then she hears noises from another room. It's Helena, who is, it looks like a very similar situation to Riley. Which fucking really sucks. Really drunk and is trying to vocalize objections, but the dude is like, it's fine. Yeah. Riley interrupts them. Hey, it's that jackass from the coffee shop.
Yeah.
Hey. So then Riley, kind of consoles Helena, tells her to go on home and sober up. Then Riley goes to her friends who are supposed to do this talent show thing. Mm-hmm. Chris guilt trips Riley into filling in for Helena.
I was mad at this. I was like,
I was too.
Again, what a great Chris about.
Jeez. Yeah. What a great friend and sister. Yeah. Come the fuck on. She's clearly traumatized, and you tell her to rebuild yourself, bitch. Eat a dick.
Yeah. I mean,
however, up in the frat house was stellar.
Yeah, would you like to read the lyrics?
Would you, since I talked so much?
No, because I'm letting you lead this one because I very, very don't remember a lot of it.
Okay.
I was drinking lots of wine.
I'll just singy song it quickly. So it's sung to the tune of Up on the Housetop, right? And it's these girls in like sexy Santa costumes, a la Mean Girls. Mm-hmm. And they don't know what's coming. They sing a cappella and they go, up in the frat house, me and you, and we know what I'm there to do. We're drinking and kissing, and what comes next? You and I have sex. Ho, 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 I wouldn't know. Ho, 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 I wouldn't know. Up in the frat house, there's one true fact. That is that I got attacked. Mm-hmm. I love it. And then from here, it's like, then Riley takes over, and she just she had...
She gets confidence, and because there's people in the audience she thought that she would have a lot more pushback. Yeah, but I think it's because
there were enough girls there.
There were enough girls, and I think there were not enough non-frat guys there too that were
because this was like more of a college thing, put on by the frat and sorority house. Moving on. Up in the frat house, things went down, and I'm telling everyone in town, didn't see your face for goodness sake, couldn't have 'cause I was not awake. Oh, it's really dark. Ho, 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 I didn't know. Ho, ho, ho. I didn't know, 'cause up in the frat house, click, 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 what you guys do in here is really sick. There's no more of protecting you. No, he said, she said, what was true. Don't say what you did was all my fault, 'cause what you did is called assault. Ho, 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 I didn't know. Ho, ho, ho. I didn't know, 'cause up in the frat house, click, 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 you slipped me a roofie, and then you're boop. Dick.
Yeah, it's...
I thought it was rather clever.
Yeah, it was... I mean, like, it just... Again, there's phone calls, and a guy's in the house.
Right.
What the fuck is this?
Getting strange texts, and what the fuck?
This isn't Black Christmas.
No.
This isn't Black Christmas.
No.
Okay, so, and at the same time, Helena's gotten home, and she's drunk packing, which I was like, I maybe have done that before.
A couple times.
Yep. A couple times. And, so, as she's, I'm sorry, I'm reading,
Helena gets a text while she's packing.
From Calvin
Hawthorne, and then hears strange noises.
Yeah, and,
cut to hooded figure appearing behind Helena.
That's right.
As she closes the door.
Yeah.
Right before that... So after the performance, the girls kind of like book it the fuck out of there.
She's not.
Yes.
That's right.
God, she was abducted. And we don't see Helena die.
No, because she doesn't.
But you see, there's that same cloaked, hooded figure like in the beginning with poor Lindsay.
Yeah.
That they just close the door and boop, next scene. So after the performance, the girls fucking book it out of the frat.
Right, because they're
followed by one of the girls' boyfriends, Nate. It's like, he's not part of the frat, right?
No.
He's a really sweet guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like they're, a brother to all the girls.
Yeah, yeah.
And boyfriend to the one, because he's just really sweet.
Marty.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's his name. So...
No, that's her name.
No, that's the girl.
Yeah, Marty. It's Marty's boyfriend.
So Landon, who is the cute little nerdy guy that was trying so hard to flirt with Riley.
His game was off, but it was fine.
He was so cute.
We were all feeling it. It was good.
But she still got it.
Yeah.
They're all walking home, and here's another joke. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Why is Santa Claus scared of getting stuck in the chimney?
Because he's claustrophobic. I was like, come on, Landon. I like it.
So
I like it.
Like,
it would have worked on me. It would have worked on me 100%.
That's why. Oh my god! I think that's one of the things that my boyfriend appreciates about me is that I appreciate his dad jokes.
Oh, I love him.
I love
Again,
it.
Ted Lasso.
Yep. Landon is adorable. Too bad he'll likely die soon. So, that's what I wrote. I don't know, but we don't know that.
So the next day,
yes,
the girls start getting like threatening direct messages from this Calvin Hawthorne account.
Yeah.
Kind of like what Lindsay was getting.
And they're realizing that strange things have gone missing in the house. And they find the cat.
Yeah.
What's wrong with the
This
cat?
is where Diva Cup is murdered while looking for Claudette. And she just stabbed, right? She doesn't... She's strangled.
She's strangled and then thrown on the terrace.
That's right.
Yeah.
Again, this is like so vivid in my memory.
Right. Then, whilst shopping for a Christmas tree, Riley gets a text from Hawthorne. Then a call from a blocked number, but it's actually Helena's mother.
Yeah, looking for her.
And she tells you, that Helena never showed up.
And this is the point where Riley starts to think that Landon is DMing her as Calvin Hawthorne because she starts interrogating him.
Yeah, and she even asks, Landon? And he's like, and he says, some snide thing that I didn't bother to write down because I was already over it.
But then Riley is like, she's scared enough that she goes to the campus police who do fucking
fuck all.
Dick.
About the same as what they did for her rape.
Right, and she says that pretty much.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, because... It's the culture.
He's more interested in his ham sandwich that he's making. Ham fucking what is it with the ham sandwiches?
In horror movies? I don't know. Now I want a ham sandwich. I don't even like ham.
Squirting like packaged mayonnaise on the thing. Yeah. It's so gross.
So they're pretty apathetic, obviously.
Yeah.
And they just assume that Helen has just run off.
Yeah.
Because that's what she was actually going. It was the text, and it was also because Helen is gone.
Right.
And so similar to...
And they basically say, give it another day, and then we'll do something.
Which
and
is true, because they can't...
It is.
If anybody who listens to true crime... Right. Knows. You can go... As an adult, you can go missing... And it's legally, like, they don't have to look for you. They don't have to call you missing because you're an adult.
You can report it.
But 10 to 1,
they're not going
to do anything.
Right.
Because they figure you're an adult. Someone could just leave on their own volition.
Right. And he was giving every, barely looking at her, giving
Nope.
every excuse in the book.
But he does take her to the frat.
Yeah. He takes her to the frat house.
And
it's
where
like,
she meets...
the cop leaves, and she's kind of still stalking around the house. She decides to call Helena's cell phone. Smart fucking girl. This Riley, I love her. She calls Helena's phone, and she hears ringing in the house. And then, because she's, focused on that, Gelson literally bumps into her, and he offers to let her in the house, because she's like, I left my comb in there. Because he's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, I left my, fucking comb in the house. And he's like, I can let you in if you want to go grab it. And he's like, most everybody's away. I kind of, make sure it's unlocked so the cleaners can come. He lets her in the house, but not without some awkward commentary on the talent show and Marty's quote, or Marty, it should be Chris's quote, passion for equality cannot be bridled.
Well, he also then, he does accuse her, and he says, well, it could be legal repercussions from the video being posted.
And she has no idea what video he's talking about.
Right, because then she finds out that Chris has posted the video online.
Of their
performance.
Up in the frat house song. Yeah. Oh, and, we don't find this out until the next scene, but, she runs back to the sorority house. We're at the sorority house, and Marty, Nate, and Chris are kind of hanging out, doing whatever, making dinner. Oh, and Jess. I forget about poor Jess, poor thing. She's like, you just put it in the oven, and that's it? So cute. That's kind of me. And she's like, I made a ham! Look at me! I would be the same. Unfortunately, part of the video recording of the talent show exhibits Chris alluding to Riley's rape. That's the thing.
That's the part.
We're not inspiring people, and
because
Riley
she says,
and Chris get into it
because she say he can't ignore it. It can't be ignored now, or something like that. Something along those lines. That's what they catch.
Yeah,
and Chris is like, I didn't even know it was on there. I was like, you kind of have to watch it while you're uploading it.
And Chris is all up on her high horse about girl power, and we have to do drastic things to get attention on these issues. And this happened to you. This is fucked up. But then Riley...
Yeah, but I'm going to pressure you to be in a fucking performance against your will. Cool.
Right.
Yeah.
And in all fairness, Riley is like...
Let me just relive that night again. How about that? Does that sound like a good idea?
That's exactly it. It's like, and Riley's like, you're pushing too much. I didn't want to be part of this at all.
Right.
And says, we're not inspiring people. We're pissing people off. And the wrong people. Because now we're getting all these weird fucking texts. And then... Okay. Sorry, as Marty, Chris, and Riley argue in the kitchen, Jess goes to the attic for Christmas decor because she's like, I'm not getting part of this. I need some happy things.
Yeah.
Because I just made a fucking ham successfully, so I'm going to go grab some Christmas decorations in the attic. Bye.
Peace out.
Bye.
But
she's quickly dispatched.
Up in the attic. But then Marty and Nate have a pretty...
Yeah.
Because
they get into it.
Yeah, and I am 100% behind Nate on this one. Because he literally says, not all men. Not all men are assholes. He does,
in all fairness.
And I was
agree with him.
100%, Nate. 100%. This movie is making me want to hate men. And I said, and I was like, I think I even wrote him like 100% Nate, 100%.
Yeah.
And poor Nate. And they make him such a fucking punching bag because he comes back and apologizes later. I was like, no, Nate, you were right. You're right on this one. Because he's got to sit there and listen to them fucking just degrade men for the whole time. And he's like...
And he's got his Polly Pissy Pants about it. And of course he does. I would.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if the roles were reversed? And they were talking about women that way? Or in some way
Mad Men. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, Mad Men.
Fucking hate that show. Anyhow... whatever. But no, 100%. So they have an argument, and she kicks him out of the house.
Yeah,
and then
not 2 seconds out the door, they get more texts.
Yeah,
and then an archer comes in shooting at them. What
the fuck? The fuck? That's what I was like. I think I actually sent that picture to you. Where I had poured half a bottle of wine into a glass. There was a half bottle of wine
and taken out underwire from a bra
on my table.
Because we all been there.
Yeah, because it was actually sticking out.
It pokes up, and it pokes you, and you're like, fuck this thing.
And I'm sitting there going, it was like, I was just done, guys. I was done
over it.
And
but this is where it starts to kind of go the movie picks up and goes like 60 miles an hour from here on. They hide. Riley goes downstairs. Marty's leg was grazed by an arrow, by one of the arrows. The girls run upstairs to like the supply closet and lock themselves inside. And Chris tends to Marty's wounds, and they're like, does anybody have a phone on them? Motherfucker, we left them all downstairs. So Riley takes this like wood, like I don't know what the fuck, stick, and she breaks it in half, so she's got a pointy end, and she volunteers to go downstairs with a pointy stick to retrieve the phones. And then Chris, after tending Marty's wound, goes to find Jess, which she does.
Mm-hmm. And then poor Nate comes back.
Poor Nate. Nate returns. Sorry, go ahead.
Then fucking gets ganked. It's like...
sucks. But there's something...
Nate, the only good guy in this fucking movie.
The only one!
But Nate Landon. Yeah.
Only one!
Yeah. When he comes back to apologize. God.
Nate returns and sees Riley, who tells him someone is in the house. Nate wants to apologize, and say that he's had a migraine. Then we heard this strange, high-pitched noise like a ringing. It discomforts him, but then he kind of shifts like a light switch, and he's like, who is in here? I will and he's like getting all, alpha, or trying to. He's not really an alpha, but like there's nothing wrong with that. But then he's all like, someone's hurting my girls. These are my girls, he says. Yeah. And he gets shot in the face, right in the eye, I think, with an arrow. That poor fucking guy.
Poor Nate.
That poor guy.
But they have zero chill about using this fucking car though. Peace out. Bye,
The archer approaches Riley, slits her cheeks, and makes them all rosy with her blood, and then looks up, and there's fucking mistletoe. Okay, so these cloaked hooded figures all have these weird masks on. The archer kisses Riley under the mistletoe. Eat a bag of dicks.
Yep.
But she's able to get away enough to stab him in the neck with a set of keys. His blood is black.
Toxic masculinity.
There it is. More hooded.
Gross. EAD, man. Eat a
dick.
Bag of
dicks. Eat a whole mess of them. More hooded figures come in and chase the girls around the house. Marty bites it, unfortunately. Not without a struggle to try to get the other girls, to safety.
But she buys them time.
But she buys them a little time. Oh, poor thing. The police are dispatched to what later turns out to be their sister sorority house, also with hooded figures attacking. I thought that was interesting too.
Yeah.
So they escape in Nate's car, and then they argue again. Riley gets out to go to the frat house.
Well, this is when they start theorizing what's happening.
Yeah.
And this is where Riley says that she thinks it's Hawthorne because he dabbled in black magic.
Yeah.
That they think that that's responsible to this bust.
The actual Calvin Hawthorne, mind you, because there's something going on with Calvin Hawthorne and this frat where maybe a spirit of him or something is still alive. Something supernatural is going on with Calvin Hawthorne.
So Chris is like, let's go to the police.
Right.
But Riley's already had real bad experience with the police. So she's like,
and she says that, right. And she's like, yeah, they kind of didn't believe
me.
What are we going to tell them?
This would be like the third strike for me.
Exactly. Yeah. They didn't believe me when our sorority sister was missing.
I was raped.
When I had a legit complaint.
Yeah.
Like, so what do you think they're going to do?
Right. So they decide instead to go to fraternity, as you do.
Well, Riley gets out of the car. Chris decides to go to the police. En route,
goes
she
to
sees
the
sister sorority. So we follow Riley, gets out to go to the frat house to figure out why the Calvin Hawthorne bus gives them power.
Well, you know why? Do you know why they are attacking the other sorority?
No.
It's because he didn't participate in the talent show.
I'm sorry, what?
Yep. That's what.
Because they didn't participate? Oh, because they kind of boycotted it because of the assault.
Yep.
That's why.
That's why they're getting us.
That's why.
Yep.
So, en route to the frat house with a fucking pink plastic shovel, Riley runs into Landon on the street, who was en route to her, sorority house, and offers to help her. They get to the frat house. She's like, all men suck right now in her head, even Landon. And she's just like, you want to help? Great. So she has him create a distraction, some kind of distraction at the frat house so that she can go in to get to that bust.
Right.
The frat boys appear. They offer Landon to join. Landon hears the high-pitched noise that Nate heard earlier hurting his head. I had my sassy pants on, I guess. Brother Dick Licker says it's the founder bringing out his true alpha. I'm sorry.
Movie, it's stupid.
It's so bad.
Okay, so then we see the thing leaking goo again, the bust, and then, but we do find Helena alive and held captive.
Bound.
So Riley rescues Helena, but then gets knocked. Yeah, but then gets knocked unconscious. She tries to. Yeah, she tries to.
Can I, if you don't mind my driving.
Yeah, go for it.
Cut to the big reveal.
I fucking hate this movie. Okay.
Deep sigh, you guys. Riley is bound in a chair. In enters Professor Gelson, Sexy Carrie Elwes. I'm sorry you had to do that. You felt you had to do this movie.
Did you have I wonder if he had a bathroom that needed to be remodeled. Anyhow.
Was he divorced? What happened?
I don't know.
Did he get into an auto accident? Like, what the fuck? Come on,
gambling
Carrie.
debts?
Come on, Carrie.
Yeah.
I love you, but... Oof.
Well, I mean, I got bigger questions for fucking Blumhouse. But anyhow.
Yeah. That's really who... The big reveal. Gelson still heads the frat. Ultimately. Here are some quotes, guys. Buckle up. Before the end of his life, Hawthorne foresaw the threat posed by women. So he took precautions in case they strayed too far out of line. A master of the dark arts, he left instructions on how to create an army of young men to take our power back. We, yada yada, they read a, quote, incantation inside the bust, and the spirit of Calvin Hawthorne filled the pledges, possessing them with supernatural strength and drive, end quote. That's it. That's the movie. I just saved you 2 hours of your life by listening to this 2-hour podcast.
So how do we overcome this black arts, dark arts, black magic? That's what the word is going for.
Well, the source of the fucking black ichor is this
ugly ass bust
crying and bleeding out of his vagina, this black goo. So Riley is at a point where she is like trying her best to fight this fight herself. Then busts in her sisters, the sorority sisters that Chris picks up. They all get to the frat house, and somehow Chris knows how to, shoot an arrow at this point. They bust in and save her.
Sure.
Riley smashes the bust, releasing the pledges from possession. Landon because they had taken over Landon by this point.
Yeah.
So he was possessed. Landon and the girls make it out of the burning frat house, trapping the frat boys inside.
Yep, they lock them in the
I
burning
had a big
house.
problem with that.
Well, why couldn't they break the spell on the other guys?
It did.
Well, why did they kill them?
Trying to get the fuck out of there.
Why they locked them in there?
But I don't know if it was Brian or the other douche nozzle, but he was like, I saw that. So I played this twice. In the subtitles, he's like, no, we can change. We can do something, or I'm sorry. And then he's like, fucking bitch! And then they lock him in. So it's like, did he change? Did he not? I don't know. But either way,
there's like not
the younger pledges.
Right, that's what I'm getting
let
at.
them the fuck out.
Right, like maybe there was just somebody who's like, I just put the bows in the quiver. I'm not an archer. I just make the arrows. I don't. But yeah, I'm gonna get burned to death. I don't actually know what I'm doing. Right, I'm gonna burn to death. Thanks, ladies. Thank you
so much. So they lock the boys inside the frat house, burning alive.
Yep.
The girls watch the blaze. Close up on Riley, who smiles at first, then drops to an almost panicked look. Credits.
Because she realizes what she's done. I think she realizes that.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of is like in the panic of the moment, they're all trying to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Because it is lit on. It was lit on fire.
There are probably young guys that didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
That are. Or what if Landon was stuck in there?
Doing.
What if Landon had never come out of the thing?
Yeah.
He didn't do anything.
No. And he was like trying to apologize to her, and she's like, "Not the right time.
Well,
let's do this later."
Yeah, 100% on that one. Like,
right.
Let's just. Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Moving on.
We will have sex later. Just get.
Yeah, it's fine.
Let's go.
I'll sit on your face in a minute. Just let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So credits.
I was say post-credit scene.
I was wondering if you watched it or not. I was wondering if you
Fuck this movie.
Fuck this movie so fucking hard.
Because how?
I don't know. Cut to Claudette the cat licking up some of the black ichor that was coming out of one of the frat boys. More credits. Miss Ray, what do you give this?
Are we doing our ratings? Please rate me. Rate me. Not rate me. Rate me.
I was gonna say let's enunciate. Rate me.
Yeah, there's a hard T on that one.
Yeah. Blood and gore.
Wow. 1.
2. It was kind of gross. If the ichor had been blood,
I mean, she would have given them an R rating. So
right.
It
was still pretty gross.
Which is like, why the fuck? The only thing I could think of is because they wanted teenage girls to see this, and I was like, no.
Girl power, whatever.
Possibly. Girls, that girl with a Gurl Z at the end. Girls.
Yeah. No. It was really fucking lame, man.
Oh my god.
Look, I understand the whole girl power thing.
Listen.
I really do.
That was my Alex Jones.
But
listen.
Let's not segue there, dude. I already feel sick enough to my stomach.
Flash cookies.
Damn it.
Okay.
Alright. Like we said before, equality is a two-way street.
Yep.
I'm sorry to say it, but it is, ladies. It is.
You can't. This was like a bubbling stew of like all these. Talk about half-baked ideas. Like all these things. I want to throw in there like equality. We want to throw in battling against racism. We want to throw in the Me Too movement. We want to throw in this and this and this.
All
and this
these
and
things.
This. It's like all these half thought out ideas. It's like great. Not maybe the best platform. This is not the best platform to throw them all together and make a point that actually will hit home, and I will, that the viewers will be like, yes, this has changed my view of this.
Yeah. Were they trying to make this frat represent the newborn Aryan nation that was uprising during this time?
You mean like the Proud Boys?
Yes.
I think it was a lot of everything. I think it was
a lot of everything. But then you had other things that would have had to play into it if that was true.
Well, because if you look at the trivia,
because it wasn't just women.
Yeah, if you look at the IMDb trivia, like not only is Carrie Elway supposed to be just Jordan B. Peterson, but he's also supposed to be Brett Kavanaugh. It's like he can't be everybody, guys.
Right, can't do it all.
One or the other. It's fine, but like. He's not a judge, so you don't understand how he's like Brett Kavanaugh. Whatever. I mean, it's a lot of shit that's like, guys.
They threw it in a blender.
And this is the horrible smoothie that came out.
Yeah. Gave you botulism.
Another movie that we sat on the toilet for 3 days afterwards. Jesus.
Jesus.
All right.
So Blood and Gore, I gave it a 2. You gave it a 1.
1, yeah.
Spooky Scary.
Oh, God. Negative.
No.
No.
Sex and Romance. I would also give that a hard negative. Because
the Landon stuff. I mean, romance. I mean, I guess we should just say sex. There was like...
Sex.
Yeah, 0.
Any boobs? No.
It was
dicks?
PG-13. Oh, it's PG-13.
There were plenty of dicks, but not actual penises.
There were some hard dicks in there. Okay.
Fun. Black Hearts.
Yeah.
No.
And it's not even like with Halloween 6 where it was so bad, but I had fucking fun with it.
Yeah.
This was like...
It wasn't even awesomely bad.
Yeah.
I was just fucking angry.
I was angry and hammered.
Yeah.
And I was looking forward to this one
good.
so much because I'd heard how feminist it was, and I was super excited. And I was like, no.
This is horseshit.
This is fake feminism. This is like over the top crazy.
Okay. Who was this written by? I just
April Wolf and the director Sophia Takal. And they had
so this was directed by women?
Yeah.
And written by women.
Yep. Well, and the writers, and they have the gall to put in Roy Moore, who was the screenwriter for 74. I was like, don't bring that man's name into this bullshit.
Don't you do it!
Don't you do it! I mean, because in the long run, it comes down to, you look at this and you're like, this is so... It's not well made.
No.
It's not well made. It's edited horribly.
As a female, I was offended.
Yeah, I mean, the pacing is just fucking garbage. And it's just all over the... And even like there's not even a good soundtrack. It's just all over the fucking place.
Sorry, I'm looking at... So, I love IMDb. There's... Because I was looking at critic reviews through IMDb. Mm-hmm. Looking for another woman's opinion. Mm-hmm. Most of the critics, in fairness, are men. Mm-hmm. This is butwhythoughpodcast.com. Review, Black Christmas 2019. Isn't bad because of its themes, just everything else.
Well, I want to say even the themes, because you can't... No. Because, yes, altogether, separate themes... Fine, but all blended up together? No. Also, you can't put this on here and say that it's like, it's a send up or it's a, remake of this movie when it's not. Mm-hmm.
It's not a remake. Mm-mm. You can't call it a remake because it has nothing to do other than it being centered on a sorority house. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Okay, well, so Black Hearts. Did you? Oh no, we already did that. So neither of us had fun. I said 0. So
I was pissed off.
Yeah. I could give it a negative if I could. So
if I could.
We're just gonna say no. We do not recommend this one.
No.
All right.
The 74 version, for sure.
100%. I will probably watch it before Christmas again.
Please fucking do it.
I'll even say the 2006. If you've got time, it's free on Tubi.
Yeah.
And also, if you have Shudder, Black Christmas is free on Shudder right now too. So I would go, and I'd also recommend. Okay, so recommendations. What are you going to recommend? So, going through Shudder, I'm going to recommend. I have not seen this year's yet, so I don't know which ones he did. But I've watched the ones in the previous years. Joe Bob Briggs, horror host Joe Bob Briggs, has a series on Shudder that he does usually for the holidays. So he'll do Halloween, obviously, and then he does Christmas. And one year he did Thanksgiving, like he did a Thanksgiving special. But he curates a night of different movies, and his was Friday night. His was the last Christmas one, and I'm looking to see what. Wow, that's not Christmas. Okay, fine. So anyhow, so this year, Joe Bob ruins Christmas. His Christmas movies, his selections are Ice Cream Man, which is amazing, and Gator Bait. And now I will also recommend Riff Tracks has a Ice Cream Man that they riff over, a version of Ice Cream Man, and it's Ice Cream Man with Clint Howard. He is the titular Ice Cream Man. But I would totally recommend, because Joe Bob he's been in this business for 40 years more, so he has an encyclopedic knowledge of the industry, not just horror movies, just film industry altogether. So he goes on, a lot of times he gets a little too like conservative for me, like that's where his like political leanings are, but he's still and kind of like but I still like him. And so he talks about the movies and usually gives anecdotes. Huh?
It's not obnoxious.
No.
Yeah. But I can deal with that.
Yeah. But Yeah, so that's what I recommend.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I watched it's on Netflix. It's a docuseries. That's, can't count. 6 episodes long, called Trial by Media.
Oh, I was gonna watch that.
Really good.
Is it?
I thought it was fascinating. It is a docuseries that centers on various crimes that have happened over the last couple decades.
They go into
now
Peterson?
that
Scott Peterson? Is he on that one?
No.
Okay, sorry.
No, but they get into like. Do you remember? Do you remember the talk show Jenny Jones?
Yeah, because that one guy that he found out there was a gay guy that was had a crush on him.
Someone has a secret crush on you. Guess who it is?
And he murdered him.
And he murdered him. Right, like 2 days later. It's insane. But it was how it's basically about centering on these crimes where, because of so much media attention, and there are some cases they obviously don't do because they are so obvious, like the OJ trial. That was so highly televised, and media coverage was so insane about it that it because of the general opinion of the public. How can you get it? How can you possibly get a fair jury?
Right.
How can you possibly get a fair trial?
Right.
Because the jury of your peers and the rest of the world have already judged you. Right. And it kind of delves into that, and I thought it was really, really cool and interesting.
Makes you really feel for defense attorneys.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
They have a really hard fucking job. Most people are like, yeah, I want to get into criminal law,
and they always want
to be a fucking prosecutor.
Exactly.
Listen, until not that I've luckily have not had this personal experience, but the more that I see the other side of things, the more like I could go on and on and on about prison reform, about and I've watched a bunch of documentaries on that, read about it, about our prison system in general in this country. I mean, it's the capacity of incarcerated peoples has doubled since 1985, almost tripled.
And it's for things that people probably shouldn't be incarcerated for.
Right.
Drug charges.
Dumb shit.
Yeah.
And it's so sad. Yeah. And those people can't get a fair break because of various reasons, but one of those things being, the environment you come from, if you're, anyway, that's a whole different subject. But this docuseries deals with the high media coverage of fucking everything, and how can you possibly, be unbiased. Even judges have a hard time. Yeah. And some have recused themselves from cases because it's just so massively covered on the news. You can't get away from it. So anyway, on Netflix, called Trial by Media.
Coolio. Well, we got some things coming up. Well, besides fucking Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays.
Did we say Happy Hanukkah to our Jewish friends?
We did.
Earlier in the month? Yeah. So happy way post Hanukkah.
Yeah.
So
and happy Kwanzaa, because it'll be...
Happy Kwanzaa on the 26th.
Day,
yeah. Happy Boxing Day.
Yeah. I know, and if we have any UK listeners, which I think we do, so...
Right. Happy Saturnalia.
Happy whatever the Cult of Cthulhu is. So January is our New York Eve month. Lean is looking at me like she wants to kill me.
It's only because I didn't have any better ideas.
I can tell you right now, you're going to enjoy them.
You're going to enjoy. I'm actually, you know what? Especially after this piece of garbage.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to a good old
claymation, stop motion amazingness.
Sign me the fuck up for cheesy, campy anime. Sign me the fuck up.
It's gonna be great.
I want to laugh.
So we got some Chud coming up. There's Chud 1 and 2.
I just don't like that
word. Chud 2, but the Chud. And then that'll be probably, I'm going to look at my calendar. It'll probably be, okay, so it'll be the 11th.
Yeah, the 11th.
The 11th will come out. That'll be Chud and Chud 1 and Chud 2. And then the 25th will be Basket Case 1 and 2. You are...
And by the way, only 1 and 2 because we can't find 3 because it's so bad.
Yeah, you could buy it, but I'm not buying it. No. I'm not buying a VHS. I don't have a VHS player for one.
I used to.
I know, me too. Like everyone did.
Like 6 months ago.
Oh God.
Yeah.
We could have watched it at your house.
We could have.
But no, we're not. I mean, there comes a time where you're like, how much am I going to invest in this? Right. Buying a VHS of that is not going to be high on my list. So
cute.
On this Christmas Eve. It's not Christmas Eve. On the leading up to Christmas Eve, I'm going to say happy holidays to you. Happy holidays to my co-host.
Happy holidays to my dearest one. Happy holidays to all of you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your support.
And we will see you in the new year.
Yay!
So this is Ray.
And Wayne signing off for 2021.
Yeah. This has been the Booze, Boobs, and Blood podcast.